Welcome to Applaud Academy. In this lesson, we will lay the foundations of your application and show you how the Applaud platform works perfectly for many different workplace scenarios, including the new normal following the COVID-19 pandemic. We will cover an introduction to preparing your application, installing templates, building your first integration, building your team, users pages, models, configuring a global search, adding pages and building forms, and what comes next. We have created a series of lessons to build on your knowledge of the platform and help you to create custom applications. Starting from the ground up, we'll take you through every key aspect of the platform and show you how to build an application complete with integrations, workflows, notifications, and tasks. As mentioned earlier, we have adapted to a new way of life since the outbreak of COVID-19, and as such, the need for flexibility in the way we work has never been more topical. Given that some organisations will likely return to how things were before, and others will continue with a more flexible approach, we have designed our application around meeting those needs. Your workforce can request to work from home, book a desk if they want to work in the office, catch up on relevant news, provide managers with an overview of who's working where, and more. This functionality will be covered in the lesson. As we're creating a remote working application, we're installing a number of templates, including profile, personas, content library pack, employee directory and global people search, person model, countries, and roles. Each template has instructions on how to use them, which can be found by selecting them from the templates page. If you already have these templates installed, you can skip to the next section. Now, we're using the person model from the person template to illustrate a simple integration example. We're going to import a few properties, but these can be entered manually, along with others. We have created a Google Sheets spreadsheet titled Person, containing a small sample of the properties from our person model. This is for illustrative purposes, and you can include and exclude properties how you see fit. To create your own Google Sheet, you will need an existing Google account. When you're happy with your spreadsheet, head to the Models section from the admin homepage. Then select your person model. Select the Access Controls tab at the top of the page. And assign the All API Keys role. And then the role you have assigned to you. You won't be able to view any page content without this. Go back to the admin homepage and select the integration icon. You'll need the tenant admin role to see this option. If you still can't see it, check with your Success or Partner Manager. Select the Assets tab at the top of the page and select the Create Connection button. Search for Google Sheets and select it. Enter a connection name, then choose Connect. Workato will notify you if the connection was successful. Now you need to connect your Applaud tenant to Workato. You'll need to add an API key first. You can do this by following our knowledge base article called Connect Workato to your Applaud tenant. After connecting the two, it's time to create a recipe. Recipe is a Workato concept that refers to the connection between applications and the mapping of data fields. From the Assets tab of the integration page, select Recipes and Create Recipe. Enter a name for your recipe. In this example, we're entering Load Person Data to Person Model. You then need to select a starting point. In this example, we're choosing Trigger from an app. When you're happy with your choice, select Start Building. Ensuring your trigger is selected, choose from the list of connected apps in the right-hand side panel. In this example, we're selecting Google Sheets. We want to load the person data from the spreadsheet into the person model, so we're selecting New Updated Row in Sheet in My Drive for the trigger event. Then select your active connection to begin mapping your data to the model. Select your spreadsheet from the drop-down list. In this example, we're selecting Person. Then select the sheet you wish to use and which columns you wish to monitor. As we want to monitor everything, we're selecting all columns. After configuring our trigger, we need to add an action. To do this, select the plus icon under Actions and Action in an app. Select Applaud from your connected apps. Select Create an instance from the list of actions to map your data to the model, and select your active connection. Then find your model from the drop-down list. You can now map each property individually or use the Group Map Data feature. Review your selections and when you're happy, select Apply Mappings. Ensure that you save your recipe. It's now time to test your recipe using the button at the top of the window. If everything has been set up correctly, you should see a successful notification. Now exit this screen and start your recipe. You can check your data is loaded correctly by creating a page with a list block relating to your person model. The data from your spreadsheet should be displayed. If you need a helping hand when creating a list block, you can check out our list blocks knowledge base article. This example is just one of many possibilities that our integration function has to offer. To help you discover and create more integrations, check out the Getting Started knowledge base document at docs.workato.com. Remember, for any integration you set up, you will need to allow Workato access to it via the associated model. As mentioned already, you may want to invite a small set of users to test any functionality you build. We already have several users prepared, but if you need a hand inviting others, you can check out our knowledge base article, Invite a User. The users model comes with each tenant by default. This model stores information on your platform users, and there may be occasions when you need to update these details, such as surname and email address. Before you can edit these details manually, you will need to create a couple of dedicated pages. To get started, we first need to assign access control to the user's model. As we don't want our list of users to be available for everybody to see, we're assigning control to tenant admins and experienced designers. Now we need to create a page with a form. This can be done by heading to the Pages section from the admin homepage. From here, select the New Page button in the top right corner. Give your page a meaningful title. In this example, we have chosen Edit Users. The platform ensures that your content works dynamically with your models, meaning that you don't need to create a page per user. You can simply create one page to display them all. Select the Add Content button on your newly created page. We're selecting the form type and connecting this to the user model. We're including all properties from the model and selecting Continue. Here you can use the drag and drop functionality to reorder your form. When you're happy with your choices, select Update. Your form should look similar to this. Now repeat the process, this time adding a list block rather than a form. We're calling this page Platform Users and linking our new page to the user model. Add the list block, connecting it to the user model. Feel free to play around with the layout options available until you find what's right for you. Your completed user list should look something like this. Now that your person model is populated and you have some users on the platform, we can now link the person to the user. Connecting the two is useful to ensure the platform recognises what context belongs to which user. To match the two, select the user from the page and the Edit User Model window will appear. Then select the matching person from the drop-down list in the Person field. Before we can start to build our remote working application, we need to create some models. Not all of the content will require a model, as these are only required for the content types that we store data for. As well as our person model, we also need to create models for flexible working request, health check-in, weather, currency, expenses, equipment request, department, and calendar event. Our flexible working request model contains the following properties. With these access controls. Our COVID health check-in model contains the following properties. With these access controls. Our weather model contains these properties. and these access controls, followed by our currency model properties and access controls, expenses, equipment request, department, and calendar events. The access controls featured in this section have no filters. We'll tighten this up later. You can find exactly what you're looking for in the platform by using keywords. Your platform uses these keywords to sift through your models and return only relevant results. However, you can't search anything until you configure this setting. This can be done by selecting the search icon from the admin homepage. Use the knowledge base article called Search to help you build this functionality. Once configured, a search icon will appear in the toolbar. Now that our models are ready, we'll need to present their data in different types of content. We're adding a page for each section mentioned in this lesson and using the form content block. For flexible working request, we're connecting the form to our flexible working request model. We're disregarding the only user property, but including everything else. In the design form step, we're changing the where field from select single to radio buttons. We're also hiding the reason for late request field, enabling it only if the user selects work from home in the where field and selects a date less than 3 days in the future. We're also hiding the Another Reason field, enabling it if the user selects Other from the Reason for Late Request options. For health check-in, connect your form to the COVID health check-in model that you created. Disregard the owner user property and change the date field label so that it reads Visit to Office Date. Then relabel the symptoms field to I do not have any COVID-19 symptoms. And relabel the contact field to I have not been in contact with anyone who has tested positive for COVID-19. Change the comfort level field type from number to rating, and select an icon for your rating. In this example, we're using thumbs up, with the number of icons being 5. We're changing the label to How comfortable are you working in the office? Lastly, override the default Submit button with your own request button. At the bottom of the form fields, select Add Content and Submit button. We're using Request for the button label, ensuring Visible and Enable are selected, and selecting the regular style. We're then selecting Normal for the weight and choosing a colour. Optionally, choose an icon. In this example, we're sticking with the default behaviour for redirection. If you're adding your own button, add the default Submit button by going to Submission Settings and clearing the visible checkbox. For equipment request, we're linking this form to our equipment request model. We are disregarding the owner user property and including all other properties. You may want to change labels here. You can do this using the methods we have shown you so far in this segment. For request time off, we're linking the form to our calendar event model. We're disregarding background colour, secondary icon, owner user, link, and event details. We'll build a separate application in a later lesson to include link and event details for company events. Now that you have the foundation for your new application, it's time to think what else you and your users need. Continuing to build great functionality is extremely important to provide value for your users. So when you're ready, check out our next lesson, Build Your Application. Congratulations, you have successfully completed this lesson. Learn more by checking out Applaud Academy and our knowledge base at support.applaudsolutions.com.